Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, let's see if I can't figure that out. Looks pretty good. Today is Wednesday, June 21st. 21st. And it's the first day of summer. So longest day of the year. Everything from here on out is just going to get shorter. So it's getting close to winter, if that makes you feel any better. Just check the oil here on the old Ronda the Rancher. We took it out fencing. I have the box off the back of it now, you can see, but we took it out on Sunday, and we checked fences, and my brother was using it. I was on the other four-wheeler, on Reba, and all of a sudden was driving, and he felt like this hot on his inside of his pant leg here, and I looked down, and the cap, this oil cap here had come off, and it was laying like right here, and it was spraying oil out the top of it there, so he shut it down. It didn't lose that much. It was down on the dipstick enough to where it was like to the add mark. So we tightened it up, brought it home. After we got done checking the fences, we were pretty much done anyway. And I just went and bought this whole quart of oil to put in it. $9 worth of a quart of oil that I only used eighth of out of there to fill it back up to where it needed to be. So anyway, that is that. Today, my brother actually has off work this week, so he cut the oats today because it was starting to get brown on the bottom because of the weather. So we cut it, and assuming we'll bale it up. He may even bale it up on Friday. So, and then he spread fertilizer. They brought out a buggy today to spread on the hay ground. See it sitting over there, and he spread the fertilizer on the second crop. So anyway, that was that. We had a little problem. Well, I should say we did finish up baling the hay. First crop, we finished that up. We hauled the bales off the field on Saturday morning. I hauled them off. We had 64 bales off of 35 acres. So just about 2 bales an acre. Actually, not quite 2 bales an acre. But usually would like to see that around 70s, where we usually get 70, 75 bales. So anyway, it was light. It was some spots it was really good, but then the other spots it was pretty light. I know in that one video I watched me cutting hay, it was very uneven, thin in spots. So so anyway, we hauled the bales off on Saturday. Holland 6A4 and the 756 back there. Loading them with this, well, a couple of times the doggone thing never got hot on me, but it started to creep up the temperature on the gauge. And it did burp out some antifreeze out of the overflow. Got done, never overheated or anything, but we just kept an eye on it. It was kind of fluctuating, but the grill got a little bit full of chaff. Nothing terrible. I mean, it wasn't like they were completely covered or anything. So Sunday, after it cooled down, obviously, overnight, and we checked it. Well, it was like, I don't know, I think it was dang near a gallon of antifreeze in it. Okay, maybe it was only half a gallon. Anyway, regardless, I put some antifreeze in it. We took the grill out, and we blew out the radiator, blew the grill out, washed the radiator inside, backside, front side, cleaned everything up in there. There are oil coolers, hydraulic coolers in there. We cleaned that out. So I guess we'll see if it does it again. I don't know what, we're thinking maybe it just got it. We took the oil cooler, I don't know if you know in these tractors, oil cooler sits in front of the radiator and then it like hinges out of the way. Well, in between there, it was caked pretty thick on the radiator behind that oil cooler. So we cleaned it all out, and hopefully it'll be okay. So like I said, never got hot. Checked the air filter. We blew the air filter out. I know that sometimes that causes a little bit of a problem too. I mean, it's dusty, terrible dusty, and especially over there in the by the hay shed, it's just powder. I mean, this is less powdery than it is over there, so there's just dust flying all the time when we're unloading the hay. So anyway, I did that. Hopefully it'll be okay. The 986 always, and I don't know, I have to get a temperature gauge. I'd like to maybe get one of those infrared ones. I got one at work I could probably borrow, bring home and check on it, but temperature gauge on this always seems to creep way up to the red mark. It never gets hot, and it never belches out any antifreeze unless you overfill it. If you get the radiator like full, it'll run out of there when you're just idling after the tractor gets a little bit warm or whatever. But we cleaned the radiator, cleaned the air filters. It never gets like super to the point where it overheats, but the temperature gauge climbs way up over almost to the red. It doesn't matter. I mean, obviously, if you're working it hard, like when we're baling hay, it gets up there. But I had it happen even like in the springtime when we were like chisel plowing. It wasn't really that hot outside. I mean, we're talking 50s, and it was starting to get up there pretty high. So I don't know if the gauge is just funky or if there actually is a problem somewhere. So I have to look at that. I'm not too concerned. It never really gets too bad. If it starts to get too bad, I'll let it sit for a few minutes. You know, like between fields, I'll let it sit for a few minutes, let it just idle, let it cool back down again. So anyway, so that is that. Anyway, another little something we got to work on is our new bean head out here. I'm gonna go show you the hay wagon over here first. We got to do some work on this. I don't know for sure if we'll get it fixed before we got to do the oats, because it's kind of a weekend project kind of thing, and we're probably going to get the oats done before the weekend. But we got a couple of these 4x6s, and then like this C channel I got to bolt back down. I don't know if I caught this thing the other day with the the prong when I was unloading the hay, but this one back here, this 4x6 is seen better days. It's getting kind of rotten back here. This I think is locust, if I remember right. We got it from our friend Lawrence at the sawmill, but I think there's 4 new ones sitting in the shed in there. We're gonna put one on there, and then we gotta either do something with this C channel here, either cut that piece off all the ways and bolt another piece here, or I'm not totally sure. So we managed to get through it the second crop, but I want to fix it before, or I'm sorry, the first crop, but I want to fix it before second. But it broke here where these bolt holes are at. This is old stanchion that we've had sitting in the machine shed for years. I'm not for sure if like when Dad put stanchions in the barn or he bought some stanchion stuff, because they were in the shed way before we ever quit milking. So I'm not totally sure if he bought these like at an auction somewhere, but he always told me they were stanchion pieces for cow stanchions. I don't know if it's what it is, but anyway, we got to fix that yet. And then the bean head over here, we bought this, you know, you saw it, and we bought it knowing that it needed work. Like, we bought it from a dealership, sight unseen, other than we saw pictures of it on the internet. But they told us it needed some work, and they said it needed the fingers that go in the auger here. These fingers in here, when it turns, there's like a cam in there. You can see here this cam right here, and when this spins, it throws them out So they're sticking out. I don't know if I can show you on the other side. They're sticking, when it turns, it throws them so it's out and grabs the grain and pulls it in. As it spins back, they retract back into the in here. So they kind of look like this. They go around, and as it spins, they get farther out until you get to the point on the front side where they're sticking all the way out like these are here. So we knew that we bought it, we were gonna have to do that. So we're in the process of doing that. I'm not totally sure. You can buy these are poly ones. They make Shoop makes these with these little plastic. They're supposed to be can't show, but they're supposed to be all a black holder, whatever you want to call it, to hold them into place. And these are too big. They don't fit in the factory ones. So what someone did before us is they just took like pipe insulation or a pool noodle there. They shoved them in there. So they're not banging around so much, but they're still loosey-goosey. So Shoop makes a kit that actually has new screws, a new black plastic holder there, and then these new fingers for like 15 bucks a piece. Advantage to these is when they break off and they go through the combine, they don't destroy anything in the combine. Whereas the metal ones, which I'll get over to the other side and get the back side, because there's a metal one back there. I haven't priced out a metal one. They don't sell them in Shoop, I don't think. I didn't see any, but this is what they're supposed to look like right here. That's the metal one, and this is the little black thing here that holds it into place. The metal ones, if they break off, which they do, you can see there's a couple of short ones in there that broke off, but they go through the combine and they kind of make a mess. They don't like destroy the combine, but it ain't good to have metal, like 1/2-inch steel rod running through the combine that is like 6 inches long or whatever. So the fiberglass ones work better in that aspect. The only problem with the fiberglass ones, the way I've understood, is they have a tendency to break off easier. So I guess it's kind of I don't know, trade-off. Either it doesn't destroy your combine, or you got to replace more of them. So what I think I'm going to look into, as I've had people talk about it, is getting auger extensions. Apparently, you can buy an auger extension that goes down and it continues the auger flighting around and around. Like this one here comes up, and it must come over and it continues around here, and you eliminate the fingers. So I'm going to look into that. I don't know. I haven't found any place on the internet yet that has it. I might call the New Holland dealership and see if they sell a kit. Because if it's going to be $200 to put on these auger extensions, the flighting extensions, that's probably going to be about the cost it's going to cost us to replace all of these. We do have some of these when we got their old head. They come with some parts. Now this is pretty much the same as their old head, I think. So we have parts, like 3 of them, but it's not enough to do everything. So yeah, you can see here where they had just like pipe insulation wedged in there to hold it from slamming around, because this is what happens if you don't have that little black thing in there. Like, that's in there, it holds it into place so it doesn't move. If you take it out of there, it flops around like that in there. So we got to do a little repair here too. So, but if we put the flighting on there, we won't have to worry about that so much. So I got to look into that a little bit. And then there's a couple other things here in the front on the Sickle. There's a couple sections that need to be taken care of. Someone's replaced, this has got, it's got single sections, but then someone's replaced them with like the double ones here. It's got a Crary, these spring-loaded sickle holders on it. But there's a couple of sections, like here's one, there's a section here that's kind of jacked up a little bit. There's a couple more over this way, but then we got a here. It's a twin sickle one, so this one comes this way, and then this one comes in and goes this way. And here they meet, so we got to have this here. We have to either get this piece here just bolts on there, I think. So we're either going to just flip that over because it's been rubbing here and it's wore this, and then we're going to probably see about, because you can buy these things off Shoop. I might just buy a couple of these. We might actually even have a couple from our old combine head in a bucket of parts. Like, here's a section that's bad. Here's a section that's bad. That one actually looks. Oh, I thought it was looked like it was welded. There's a couple more down that way, and then but there's a couple of guards here that are bad. And I don't know for sure if they're supposed to be that way because of this going on, or if they broke because of this going on. So it's gonna kind of live and learn. If anyone's got one of these, let me know what you think about having the flight auger flight extensions, or let me know if you know what we got going on here, because our old one didn't have twin sickle. It just had one sickle on it and one gearbox. This one's got two gearboxes, and this is double sickle. It's got this pipe. I think that's like a rock. Like if you get a rock here, it doesn't just whoop. The rock doesn't go in as easy, and I think it helps with seed loss, if I'm thinking right. So it's like the beans will fall in, like you cut them off, they'll fall in, but they won't fall back out again. So anyway, so yeah, other than that, it doesn't look. I think we're gonna take these big dividers off. Like our old one had these big dividers on it too, which I mean they're okay, other than they when you go to turn, you get into a sharp bend in the field. This will knock the sticks way out so far. It'll knock over the beans, and if you're turning to the inside, like if you're going this way, and you're turning this one, will start hitting the beans that you're combining and knocking them over. So, we got to do a little work there. We're going to take them off because it has the short ones in here. Our old one didn't have the short ones. And we took our other ones off one year, and it didn't work very good because they didn't have the short ones in here too. So we're gonna try and see what happens. I guess worst case scenario, it's like 3 or 4 bolts, and it just goes right back on again. So anyway, that is that. It has not rained. Well, you can see. There's no track. You can see tracks. It's hard to even pick it up, but there's tracks like here. You can see a few drops in the dirt there, and that come Sunday afternoon. I literally got out of the house about 3 o'clock, getting ready to go home, and it started raining. It was all dark behind the shed here, and it was thundering. I'm like, oh, this sounds pretty good. And just stepped out the door. It started to sprinkle a little bit. I'm like, oh, better get in the truck, drive home. So I got in the truck, and before I got home, it was done raining. So that was pretty much it. And then it rained again a little bit that night. There was about 10 sprinkles. But yeah, we've had maybe. I highly doubt if we have had a 1/10 of an inch of rain since Mother's Day. Mother's Day, it rained. I don't know how much we got, but it rained a pretty good amount. I remember going out for brunch that morning, and we got a pretty good amount of rain that day. So yeah, we definitely need some rain. And this week it's been hot. It's gonna be it's only supposed to get warmer as the week goes on. It was a little warmer yesterday than it was today, but it wasn't so bad today. It was a little bit overcast today at times, so it kept it a little cooler. But there is hot and dry in the forecast until it sounds like maybe Saturday night into Sunday morning or Sunday or somewhere in that area. I don't know. They keep talking it sounds pretty good chance of like storms. But if you look at like the radar or the weather forecast 10-day, you're talking like a 50% chance on Sunday. So, I mean, we've had 80, 90% chances of rain in between since Mother's Day in the dry spell here, and we haven't got anything. So, at this point, the crops are still holding on yet. The second crop actually over here in the bottom, straight across over there, doesn't look terrible. I don't know if the grass is going to be much. It might be some alfalfa. Like I said, we got 63, 65 bales of first crop. And I'm hoping we're probably going to get somewhere right around, I'm going to guess, off the, I think there's almost 8 acres of oats we cut. I would say we'll probably get about 10 bales off of that. And I think that would be enough to feed our cattle throughout the winter. We still have some hay in the barn yet. There's still a little bit of silage in the silo yet we have to throw out. But the shed is pretty much full over there. There's a little bit left we can put in that bin right there. And that bin right there. The one end we're just going to end up putting corn fodder in. So I want that shed full of hay. There's like 20 bales outside that we baled off of the bottom, and a couple other spots that were not that good of hay. Not saying that was bad hay, but it was a little damp, so we just left it sit outside. So I think between the oats and hopefully a little bit of, if we get some second or third crop, or maybe the second crop just turns into a third crop, I don't know, depending on the weather, we should be okay as far as hay this year, I hope. My really nice plan would be to cut all the second crop and get 15-20 bales off of that, and I'll know for a fact at that point we'll be okay. And then like third crop, I'll see if I can find someone that may be interested in taking it. Taking it so I don't have to worry about running my equipment over the ground. You do a little trade-off or something instead of just paying. They can cut it and bale it, and give us a certain amount of bales off from it for pay, so they don't have to worry about. And if we feel like we need them, or we can sell them or whatever, just to trade off or something. So anyway, that was pretty much the long of it. I had some stuff on my phone. I suppose you're kind of wondering if anyone noticed amongst the video, there was this thing sitting right, where is it? Right, it's turning here, right there. That's the narrow front end pedestal off the 560. I think my brother must be getting pretty antsy, because I told him, he's always been kind of after me, and I've been trying to kind of hold off on it, but he always wants to put a narrow front end on the old 12 here. And I mean, it looks cool, but for functionality as far as using it on the farm, probably not the greatest thing for it being our big tractor to have a narrow front end on it. I told him this year, if it works out, if I can find a couple of tractor pulls that are going to be close together, we can throw the narrow front end off the 560 on it when we got the 560, and we'll throw the tires, I think the tires off of the 756. The front tires will work on it because it's a 6-bolt pedestal. I would put the tires off the 560 on it, but those are not in real great shape, and I don't think they would take very good to the front of this tractor. They probably would end up just shredding them. So I think we're going to put those, they're 11L15s on the front of it. Hopefully they fit. They should fit without rubbing. And we're going to have a couple tractor pulls, I think, just to do it, I guess, because apparently we're we're a glutton for punishment, and it was my fault because I said something. So anyway, that's the video today. If you guys watched it and about the bean head over here, if you let me know about that twin sickle, and those guards, and then those auger flightings, which you would rather have, fingers, the poly ones, the steel ones, or if we should just put auger flighting, the extensions on it. Let us know. Let me know. Just let me know in the comments. This is new to me. This is like, I don't even know. I think there was a handful of missing out of our other head. We never replaced. That's why we have a couple of them left in our parts bucket for the combine head. And I never really looked into how easy it is to replace them, but it's really pulling a cotter pin, and they pull out, and you put the new one in. And then those black plastic pieces literally just held in with 2 bolts. So, anyway, let me know in the comments if what you guys run into. I'd love to hear it, what you guys think. So anyway, like it, share it, comment to it. It works for me. So anyway, we'll talk to you guys later.